Hi, everyone. Carmen Disco here on Launch Network. We've got an awesome show today. One of my favorite shows. I know I say that about every show that I have on the network, but these shows are awesome, full of information, very important for each inventor. Target market. Go do learn what you need. Here on Made in America today. I wish I had some background music because it's just so important to really push that out. Made in America. Awesome stuff. I have my co-host, Mr. Christopher Guerrera. Hey, Chris, what's up, man?
Hey, Carmine, I keep telling you I'm gonna sing. I can sing if you want. I can sing
No,
like a Made in America tune,
no,
but
no,
you may
no,
not like it. No,
no, don't do
I'll tell you a funny story. I
that.
met Steven Tyler of Aerosmith, and Randy always tells me how I should never try to sing. So I said to him, "Hey, listen, I'm going to sing you a song, and this is going to be the real test. Everyone tells me I can't sing, so I figured, right? American Idol, rock star. I mean, does it get any better than that?" So I sang "Living on the Edge," and he said, "Okay, dude, take the picture. We'll just call it that. Let's take the picture and move on." I said, "So you're basically telling me I can't sing?" He said, "I never said that. Just take the picture. We'll smile on it, and no one has to know." So
But I'm not saying that.
yeah. So that's the story of my life. So I guess I won't sing, but I would really like to live in Tom Brady's shoes, just for like, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, in for a number of reasons, without getting
Yeah.
too personal. But yeah, for a number of reasons, that would be one of my wishes if I had three wishes, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to throw a touchdown pass. That's all in the Super Bowl. In one of the 10 Super Bowls. That's all. I'm not asking for much. Forget
No.
about having a parade on a $2 million boat and all. That's fine. Just a touchdown pass. I'm good with that.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy down here, man. They're
Yeah.
going nuts. I mean, I know people that have they've taken a week off of work just because they're just going downtown and partying at the NFL experience, and down here in Tampa, they're just going crazy, man.
I know. I went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. It was with the Patriots and the Rams. We
Mm.
went on a Wednesday, and I'm telling you, Brandy still talks about it. It was one of the best experiences in all the things we've done. I was on an NFL Network with Michael Robinson. He let me hold his Super Bowl ring. He did an interview live with me. I got clips of it. It was just a lot of fun, and it's kind of a good lead into what today is. Behind me, I've got my Good Morning America, one of my many Good Morning America pictures. But we talk about marketing, right? How important marketing is, personal branding, having a product. We talked about all these things about having your product made in the USA and what the do's are, the don'ts, and how we can. And some products don't lend to it. But end of the day, you can have the best product, the most amazing product, and if no one knows about it, it won't sell. And I'll give you just a quick example before we bring Brad on. When I was at Oneida, we had this dust deputy, and I finally got that onto Good Morning America, the Shark Tank version of Good Morning America, which is on Fridays, which was seen live on TV. Not only did that product blow up afterwards, but all of our other products, our industrial products, blew up 30% because it was an immediate, 2 million, 3 million people seeing it live, now wondering what is that dust deputy? And then what is this company? Went to the website and saw all the other things. So, I say you can have the best product if it's not marketed properly or people don't know about it. You don't have an audience. How can you sell it?
Yeah, no doubt. And again, for all our inventors out there listening, and I say it too, when you your product can't be for everyone, and that's what's so important about marketing the right way. Marketing is an umbrella. A lot of things fall underneath it, but you really need to know who you're selling your product to, right, Chris? I mean, it's so important to do that.
Absolutely. And you can't be everything to everybody, and you personally can't be an expert at everything. And that's what my message is. I'm really good at a lot of things, and there's other things that I'm not good at. Like, I know how to build a website, but I'm not good at it. This is what Brad does, right? This is what they do. So with that, let me bring Brad on. Brad Solomon. He's got his own company. He's amazing. His company's amazing. They're great people to work with. Man, I've talked to these guys on Sundays. They respond to me right away. They build brands. They build websites. They do a lot of marketing, and even Brad, part co-founder and owner, he even gets involved in doing videos to promote the product. So let me bring Brad on and let Brad talk a little bit about himself and really how he got started and some of the do's and don'ts of that industry.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. Really happy to be here. You know, SC Digital got started essentially. Chris, you and I have talked about this before. I cut my teeth in the automotive industry, where it's very, very highly competitive. And I was fortunate enough to work with some amazing people in the automotive industry, but I was always kind of the guy that understood how to use a computer, how to do the website, how to manage the social media, how to manage the digital marketing, and so on. So I was always kind of asked to play in that role. Right around 2011, 2012, I leaned into that and I really started to go, that's where I want my niche to be. You talk about don't be everything to everybody. I was like, I want to be one of the people that really understands how to market digitally an automotive dealership or an automotive group and so on. So that's kind of where I I carved out my niche, and, one thing led to another. I, managed a bunch of places, managed a bunch of departments, and decided to partner up though long-term with my cousin, Matt, who already owned a small sort of a boutique agency. And he said, Brad, I got businesses that really want help and I can't help them all myself, or they want services that I don't necessarily offer. I'd love to have you come on board and let's do this thing right. He's a serial entrepreneur himself. He's got a company called Birdies that creates charity golf websites for people that are setting up, the golf event coordinators that don't want to do everything the old fashioned way with, written forms and taking checks and putting everybody in twosomes and foursomes and so on. They want to manage it digitally. That's one of his companies. And so I kind of came on board, worked with them. We started SC Digital together as sort of a little pet project. It was this thing that we were doing for fun, and we were managing things day by day. And then eventually, all of a sudden, we just got really busy, and we were like, we're going to need a team. So we brought Angela on board as somebody that has really kind of been with us since the beginning. And then we brought a bunch of other amazing people. We've got Kate, Katie, Olivia, Elizabeth. We've got such an amazing group of people that work with us, and we're just so fortunate. And our clients are very fortunate as well, because everybody has something that they're very good at. Some people in our organization are specifically good at running Google ads. Others are very, very good at search optimization. Others still are highly proficient when it comes to social media management, social media advertising, or building websites. So we really try to have something that we can offer to most people. We can't help everyone. And I think that's been a little bit of a thing that we've had to struggle with, because we want to help everyone. But sometimes, the right thing is, listen, we're actually not the right people to do this, but let me refer you to somebody that will be able to perform better.
It's funny.
Just kind of looking to have somebody take another look at your web presence, find some things that you could be doing differently, some opportunities that maybe you're not capitalizing on, that, with a helping hand, you'd be able to capitalize on them. So that's really where we shine. So having a great time doing it.
Yeah, Matt, I'll tell you, what you said, you can't be everything to everybody. And that's pretty credible. I mean, I think that's really important, that in this industry, credit and trustworthy and really being upfront with people is a big deal. I can honestly tell you, like, I've worked with Brad's team, right? So I've had the pleasure of working with Kate, and she has been amazing, just like Brad. I mean, I can call these guys anytime I need them, text them Sundays. They built the whole website for me. They've done a lot of work for me on Tidy Hook and Super Potty Trainer. So I look at it as, I feel really good when I have a partner that I know that's not my specialty, that I can reach out, and I'm not just another person in the background. I get quick responses. I get answers. They're willing to help any way they can. And I find that to be, like, for me, that's part of a really strong network and a really strong frame to growing your own business, to having the network and people outside of it that can help you grow it as well.
Yeah, really somebody that I admire, owns an agency right here in New Hampshire, actually, one day said to me, as I was getting my agency started, he's really kind of served as a mentor to me. His name's Jim Burke. And he said to me, you really want every client, when they call you, you want every single client to feel like they are your only client. And if you just sort of operate every day with that frame of mind, then it becomes, things become a lot clearer. What you should do in the moment, if that's in the back of your mind all the time, then things become a lot clearer. Decisions that you have to make do become a lot clearer. So we really try to live by that.
Yeah.
So far, it's worked out.
Let's talk about, so I've got a product now.
Yeah.
Much like we've worked literally on things that I'm going to talk about. I've got a product right now. I think it's a really great product, which, every inventor thinks their product's great, which they should, right? Yeah. But you also got to be realistic about it.
Yeah.
But like, what are the next steps? I got a great product. I don't have a website. Yeah. I'm not doing any marketing. I come to you. What are the next steps to assuring me that I'm going to be in good hands with my product, and how you're going to build my website? You're going to have, the right, whether it's a Facebook ad or it's a marketing campaign or it's videos. What are the next steps?
So first thing we would need to do if you had a new product is we'd sit down and really try to understand who your target audience is. Who's going to be the buyer for this product, and what matters to them? What makes that person tick? Do they need to see a ton of information about this product? Do they need to really, is it a big money product? Is it something that they really need to become educated about, and it's going to be a long-term sort of nurturing type of a process? Or are we talking about a quick purchase where they see it, they understand what it is, and bang, they buy it? And now it's a matter of, okay, great, how do we try to get them to buy 3 to increase your average order value? Or how do we add things on to increase the average order value, to improve your ROI, things like that? So number one, we just need to understand who is the target market, and let's do a little bit of research on them. And maybe there's a couple different customer avatars that you're really going after, and really figure out who is that person. What magazines do they read? Or, what blogs do they read? What podcasts do they listen to? What groups are they in? Maybe what's their political affiliation? What are the kinds of things that you really need to understand in order to say things through your marketing that resonate with them? So first, we would really need to define that. Second, we need to define what's the experience going to be like when they come to the website. People need to understand when they come to a website, they need to understand within 5 seconds what your product is, why it matters to them, and how do they buy it, really. I mean, those are the 3 main questions that I think we need to be answering for people within 5 seconds. And that goes for the desktop and the mobile version of the site. Unfortunately, sometimes people forget mobile, which is criminal, because at least 50% of your traffic is going to be on mobile, most of the time more, depending on your target market. But they got to be able to quickly get the answers to those questions. All right. So I always want to make sure that information is above the fold, and that we make it super easy for people to know sort of what action to take next, why this matters, and what this even is.
Brad, let me just say something real quick. I went to this huge seminar on like traffic, like you talked about. I only want to break you there because then you can go back into it. But I was told, right, and it's true, when you think about yourself, as I'm scrolling, it's important, right? The smartphone, everybody's on them. It's I think it's 80%. There's some crazy numbers of who's watching TV and who's using smart devices. Yep. But essentially, you have, as you're scrolling, you have 1.9 seconds to get somebody to stop. Yep. Then you get like 3 seconds to really get them to engage. Then you get 15 seconds with no volume, right, to really sell them on the product. Then if they like it, they click it, they get volume, you get another 15 seconds. So you're talking, 30 seconds, maybe if they really love it, a minute, but 30 seconds is a pivotal point. But you said it, key is when they're scrolling, you got to catch the eye to get them to stop and want to watch it.
Speaking, when you're talking about the headlines on the website and so on, you really you almost have to reach into that person's soul and go, I understand the problem that you have, and this is how this product solves it. Now pay attention. And another big part of that too is don't be having distractions all over your website. I've been to websites before where the first time you come to the website and the first thing that happens is boom, the chat thing pops up right in front of you, and you're like, no, I don't want that. How do I get rid of this thing? And most of these people that are, you got to assume that when somebody comes to your site, that first of all, they're on a mobile device, and assume they're at a stoplight, and that you literally have 5 or 10 seconds. And if you create some kind of a barrier or some kind of a distraction, something that they have to do in order to get the information that they want, then you can almost just assume that your bounce rate is going to go up, and people just are going to get off your page. They're going to go, this is too much for me. So simple, sleek design, no distractions, value statements. Why should you care? and what do you do next? I like to make sure that that information is pretty much right there, especially if it's a product that shouldn't really require a whole lot of research. If it's a product that requires a lot of research, then obviously you need to draw people in with your headline and then get them to read the subheadline and then get them to read the body copy, similar to what you just mentioned. And certainly there's a method to that as well, many methods. And that really kind of comes into the copywriting. But, so let's assume we get a website built, right? And the website is built properly. Now we need to be focusing on the checkout process. I mean, understand that I don't know exactly what the number is, but I'm pretty sure that the cart abandonment rate for any product is roughly 75%. So that means that you're going to get 4 people to your checkout process and you're going to lose 3 of them every single time, no matter what. Even if your product is free, you're going to lose 3 people, right? Yeah. So just, understand that and understand that that's the expectation. Now, if you can get it a little bit below that, great. But for the most part, I think if you look at e-commerce stats, you're going to find that cart abandonment rates are very, very high. Okay, so what do? We have to improve our cart abandonment rate and focus on that at the very beginning and go, how do we make this a really easy checkout process? Don't make people fill out a ton of information. Don't require them to put in their phone number so that they can buy a $7 product. Mm-hmm. Don't do things that just turn people off and go, I don't want any part of this. Besides, the light just turned green. I got to go. Make it super simple. Offer 1-click checkout, 2-click checkout if you can, multiple payment options, credit card, PayPal, Apple Pay, Google Pay, anything, Venmo, whatever you can do. Make it easy for people to do. And then also very, very important is give people the opportunity to buy more. Don't force them to, don't pressure them to, but certainly give them a reason to and build value in it. We've seen before, when you give somebody the ability to spend $8, they'll spend $8. But if they love your product and you give them the ability to spend $20 and buy 3 of them, maybe they will. And not everybody will. But if half of them do, then that brings your average order value up to $12 or $13. And now you can spend a little bit more money on advertising. Now you get a little bit more flexibility. If you can package it with 2, 3, 4 other products, then all of a sudden you're actually solving a whole problem. You're giving somebody an entire system. So always be sort of looking for ways that you can offer more value and make people feel special. And then as far as the advertising of the product goes, look, it just comes back to, we do social media advertising. It all comes back to that target market. You can target anybody you want to using Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all these other social media platforms. But you really want to understand who your perfect customer is so that you don't waste money. Also keep in mind that on platforms like Facebook and Google Ads, and these used to be cheap places to advertise. They're not anymore, right? It is not cheap to buy traffic on any of those spots. Mm-hmm. It might be cheap compared to other methods, but still, if your average order value isn't high enough, then you may not make money when you generate purchases. Yeah. So it's very important to have all those things in place before you start spending money and have a clear objective. Many times when we work with an e-commerce brand or even just a local business or a nationwide business, it's, well, what is the overall objective? If it is to drive sales immediately, that's fine. But understand that people need to be beaten over the head with your message sometimes. They need to be shown a message 12, 13, 14 times before they actually start to pay attention. So if your methodology is we want to start driving sales right now, that's fine, but just buckle up and be ready to invest some money to generate those purchases, because there's very few times when you're going to get that purchase on the first time. You need to have retargeting in place, all kinds of things in place to make that happen.
Absolutely. Let me jump in here and we can finish a little bit more on the marketing stuff. So everything you said, it obviously resonates home with me, but like when I buy stuff, I want the easiest checkout method possible, right? Mm-hmm. So you talked about giving opportunities to buy more and make it easy. One checkout, right? It could be PayPal, it could be Apple, it could be Google, but you got to also have a merchant in the background. So if somebody wants to use a credit card, a lot of people store their credit cards, now they can do that. So everything you just said, right, is really critical when developing a great looking website. The checkout has got to be just as easy as it was when they logged on to look at the website. Right?
And it also has to be just as easy as, it has to be just as easy as what, like, for instance, let's say you're selling on your own website and not Amazon, you know?
Right.
Obviously Amazon is a totally different thing, but
Right.
not only does it have to be easy, but it has to be just as easy as if they were go to Amazon.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
Amazon has really set the tone for the rest of the e-commerce world. Love them or hate them, they are there, and they are the gigantic elephant in the living room. So, you know, it has to be that simple. You've got to be able to tell people that you'll deliver it for, you know, quickly for them. As far as shipping goes, you know, if you got to charge for shipping, that's fine, but you really kind of have to tell people ahead of time what the shipping cost is going to be. Don't wait until they're in their cart, because a lot of times people are just going to go into their cart to see what the shipping cost is going to be. And then you hit them over the head with a huge shipping cost, they're going to leave. So, you know, we like to give people value to get free shipping, right? So maybe it's, you know, spend $50 and get free shipping. So it increases your average order value. People hate having to pay for stuff that they don't see value in. And unfortunately, Amazon has taken all of the value out of shipping costs because they've made it free. So these are the kinds of things that you really want to talk about. And, you know, to your point, a one-click upsell, one checkout process, right? So you give them a one-click upsell. It's not like this whole thing that they've got to. I've seen these funnel things before, and I've been in them before. I've gotten caught in them before, and you got to say no to 17 different things before you can actually buy the product you want. And I got to tell you, I don't condone that. I think you're going to miss. I think you're going to miss a lot of opportunity that way.
You
so we like
feel
to get
misled a little bit, right? You feel a little misled. But all these
Yeah.
points are great, right? So I got a great product.
Yeah.
We love it. It works good. We proved the concept. People like it. Now we've got an amazing website. People now can go to a website. You can send them there. They can see videos. They can see good pictures. They can get hopefully some good reviews. You got a great checkout. Now this is where it gets critical on the marketing side. We talk a little bit about Facebook and other things in marketing. There's many different TV. There's you know, commercials. There's Facebook ads. But this is where I want you to get really detailed on them, because a lot of people don't understand. Just because you're advertising it and you spent money on it doesn't mean you're going to get instant sales.
That's right.
I think
You're not? What are you talking about?
Right, exactly. You've alluded to that, right? Like how many times do you have to see it before it now really convinces you that you should buy it? So spend some time on that, because I'm that guy. I look at stuff every now and then. I'll buy it, but it's very rare and it's a low percentage. I have to see it 3 times and go, let me try it out. And you talked about that hair shaver earlier, right? Yep, I'm almost ready to buy that. I'm there. I've seen it enough times. But the cost of doing that is extremely high. It will pay off at some point, but up front it doesn't. So spend some time on that, Matt.
I think every situation is a little bit different. I can't remember that many products where I saw them once and I immediately went and bought it. I will tell you, the other day I saw on TV, they've got this like hard-boiled egg machine where you put the water in and you put the whole thing in the microwave, and I was like, immediately, I need that. Sweetie, can we buy that? You know, and Jen jumps.
I saw the same one.
Yeah. And I was like, we need that so bad. I need that now. Can I have that tomorrow? And you know, Jen jumps online and she looks it up, and then she found a different one that was less expensive that had better reviews, and she bought that one, right? But I mean, it's very few times are people going to buy on the first time. If you have a product that is very, very novel and really fills the hole in the marketplace and solves a significant problem that truly exists for many people, and it is kind of keeping them up at night, and they see it and they go, that's the answer to all that, to those problems, then your sales cycle is going to be a little bit, you know, is going to be a little shorter, because, you know, you're really solving a major problem in somebody's life. If you are selling something that's a little bit more of a convenience, then it might take a little bit longer, and then time of year plays into it too, right? So I saw an ad for something on TV. It was like a charging station thing that swivels, and it happened to be December 21st, and I hadn't bought gifts for a lot of people, and I was like, where do I get that? Home Depot? Okay, I'm going now. Because I can't order it. It won't be here in time for Christmas. But I needed it now, because it fulfilled some other problem that I was having. But long and short of it, all else being equal, you really need to be communicating with people in a number of different ways. Social media ads give you the ability to do that. I would say much better and more efficiently than I think other forms of advertising. So we'll take, for example, let's say we're targeting moms, right? We'll say that we're targeting moms and we've got a product that's perfect for moms, perfect for new moms. So maybe something that you might do is show your product on a video to people that you know who are moms, that also have affinities for other products that are similar to yours, or who would potentially shop at places where your product would be for sale. So perhaps you show an engaging video that quickly demonstrates how your product solves a major problem that they're feeling and so on. And what you want to try and do is have as many people see that video as possible. You want to try to generate as much engagement on that as possible. You want to generate comments. One of the things that doesn't get enough, it doesn't get enough attention is the fact that comments and social proof are everything when it comes to advertising. The comments can make or break an ad. So if you have an ad and all you have is negative comments under it, we believe that you really should not delete all those comments necessarily. We really believe that you should start over again. Unless you want to be the one that responds to all the comments and so on. But for the most part, as I'm scrolling through my Facebook or my Instagram, if I see something, if I see a product that I think is pretty cool, but then I see 17 negative comments below it, even if the business owner has responded positively to all those comments, there's still something in the back of my mind that goes, those people are seeing something I'm not seeing, and I'm not going to be the fool that buys this thing. So I'm moving on. I'm moving on. So you really can't afford to have too much negativity on your posts. I don't believe. That doesn't mean that you can't have authentic feedback. However, you need to manage that because it'll kill your product. It really will for the most part. So we like to show maybe a video, or we like to show something that gets people engaged. And then if people engage with the video, maybe they watch more than half of it, or maybe they scroll through your carousel ad and they see more information, then we can always retarget with another ad that says, hey, by the way, in case you were interested in this, we've got we have a promotion going on. It's 10% off or whatever, and then link them to the website. Facebook has, and Instagram, they have different objectives. So there's different ways that you can push your ad out there. So for instance, Carmen, if you're the type of person that likes to engage with posts and watch a lot of videos and so on, and Chris, if you're the type of person that just likes to buy things quickly, if I tell Facebook, hey, I got this video and I want it to generate a lot of sales right away, Carmen, you may not even see it because you just watch videos. Chris buys things. So Facebook's going to be more likely to show that video to Chris because of his prior behavior on the platform. Now, on the other hand, the problem with that strategy is that strategy actually costs more money per impression, right? So if on the other hand, I'm just trying to get a lot of video views, I might tell Facebook, listen, I just want video views. And then Chris, you may never see the video because it's actually too expensive for me to reach you. It's cheaper for me to reach Carmen because he'll watch the video, he'll put a comment on there and do all those things. And then maybe I show you the video later on after all those comments have been put on by all the people that engage. So there's a lot of technique that goes along with this. But at the end of the day, it comes down to you've got to be able to provide content to people that quickly answers those questions, quickly solves a problem that they know they have, and in a way that is engaging enough to get them to stop scrolling and watch and listen to what you have to say. And that's really the trick of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that Facebook and maybe other platforms you can drill down to that tight of choices. That's awesome.
Well, it's right. So there's a lot of different things you can do, and it all sort of depends on the master that you're trying to serve, so to speak, right? So if I want to reach people that are more likely to purchase my product, then I can actually tell Facebook, hey, reach people that are going to buy this product, which is fine. But the problem is that sometimes it costs so much to reach those people and you only generate a certain amount of sales. So the ROI isn't there, right? So then the other trade-off is maybe I don't want to reach people that are just going to buy it. I want to reach people that are going to engage because I'm trying to generate more brand equity. I'm trying to generate more brand awareness. So that's a different objective, right? So all the way back at the beginning, when we first start working with somebody on what we're trying to do for them for marketing and social media, we go, what is your objective? What are we ultimately trying to accomplish? What's the next 6 months, 12 months, 18 months look like for this product? Wow. And if the answer is, well, I want to generate sales immediately, that's perfectly fine, but we've got to make sure we've got enough on the website that people can buy to be sure that average order value has a shot at being higher than what it actually costs to acquire that customer.
And like,
That's
you
the
know,
only way
like you said, Matt,
profit is made.
and you have to continue to make these adjustments, right? Like I think about, I did some campaigns, not last year, the previous year, got 1 million hits. I mean, like literally 1 million people. I think the conversion rate was pretty high. It was like 250,000 clicks, but our sales weren't very good.
Right.
And I've done it where the impressions were lower, but it obviously was a better targeted market. And we made the adjustments and we sold 100 times more. So I think that's also critical, right? Making sure you know that audience.
It's a really difficult thing for marketers to grasp, for small businesses to grasp. Sometimes we only focus on that which we really understand, which is clicks to the website, you know, or impressions, you know, people seeing my ad. If people see my product, they will buy it. So logically, I think, well, I just want a lot of people to see it because that should result in sales. That is not true. That is not what happens in the real world. We are bombarded with so many advertisements every day that we have this, you know, we're blind to most of them. So the fact that a lot of people see your product doesn't mean that it's going to result in a lot of sales. That doesn't mean that you don't run a campaign that generates a lot of impressions. It just means that you need to have clear expectations as to what's going to happen when you run that campaign. And by the same token, you mentioned, well, we had a lot of clicks, right? Because if I am, say, running a Facebook ads campaign and I tell Facebook I want to optimize for traffic, then that means Facebook is going to show those ads to people that are very clicky. You know, there's people out there that just click on everything they see. You know, they click on every link, they visit every single website, they look and then they leave, they bounce off, and then you get a bounce rate of 95% and you wonder why. That's because we optimized for traffic and Facebook gave us what we asked for. A lot of people to the website doesn't make them good prospects. So it's very technical. I mean, it can get a little bit complicated. And that's where we come in, is to really sort of go, okay, well, here's what we know is probably going to happen. If you have a product that's an absolute winner, then a lot of times it doesn't really matter what you do. People are going to go, they're going to see it and they're going to salivate for it. It doesn't really matter how you optimize, but most products aren't that way. You're dealing with some competition, and the competition might be another product like it, or the competition might be the status quo, what they're already used to doing, and they don't really feel like they need to do anything different, right? So there's all these different competitive forces. And if your product has any of those competitive forces, then you need to have a plan for how you're going to overcome them. And that's really where we come in, you know. So we take what you're trying to accomplish and then we try to put it in the frame of the toolbox that we know we have that we can implement for our clients.
You know, and Matt, everything you talked about today, I've lived it, right? So I can resonate with what you're saying. I feel it. So again, it goes back to, you got a great product. Now you need the world to know about it, right? You need people to see it. And that's where the website is a really key point. Checkout services, another key point. And then on the back end, really getting it out there, marketing and really getting people to understand it through videos, through photos. So let's talk, on the back end. What if somebody wants to come to you? Let's talk about exactly how you want to, what you need, what you want to see, and then how you would take the next steps. I mean, we've talked about it. You and I work together. I know a lot of people that I've sent to you that love you and work with you. Let's get more people, because I think you provide an amazing service and you do a great job at it. And Inventors should be coming to you.
Oh, we appreciate that very much. We thank you so much for the business that we do together. And we work with clients in any stage of the process, right? So even if a client just is starting out, they're really just at the prototype stage, or they're just in the beginning stages of working with you, and they want to put a website up so that people know that this product is coming, spring of 2021, no problem at all. If somebody needs help figuring out what their messaging is going to be, what's the right way to reach this audience? And sometimes it takes a lot of tries in order to find the one that really gets to people. And honestly, sometimes the first thing you do works. So there's not really a perfect.
We're talking even like color selection, right? Color schemes, how they match the package in the product.
Yeah.
So that's what you guys do. So
I think about, we talked about the product that we've worked on together, right? At the Tidy Hook. So I mean, how many different messaging things did we go through and trying to
Right.
find the right thing? And then eventually, what was it that worked best? It was just when we held the thing in front of people and then we just showed it going on, and we showed the kids being able to put trash in there and keep the whole place clean.
Right.
And that's when things really kind of took off. That's
And
when
you
people
kept it
started
really
to go, "Oh, I get
simple,
it."
and you showed like
Yeah.
it's more than a hook. It has a bag, and here's the purpose of it.
Right.
And then you're right. I mean, the traffic increased, the sales
Yeah.
increased. It was crazy. It was like we just clicked on a light switch, but
Right.
we had the right message, and it took off. Absolutely.
It is definitely possible to overthink things, especially if you're, especially for inventors, right? Especially for inventors who have poured their heart and soul into this business for the last 3 years, and there's so many benefits. There's so many things that differentiate their product. But at the end of the day, they're seeing it through the inventor's eyes. Our job is to help you see it through the customer's eyes. And really what the customer cares about is not all the background work. The customer cares about what's it going to do for me to improve my life.
Right.
And now we need to communicate that very simple thing that can absolutely take a business from not selling anything to people going, "Oh, I get it. Of course. That thing changes my cat's litter without me ever having to do it again."
Mhm. Right.
That's, or whatever the product is. "Oh, that thing is a fun little sponge that looks like a smiley face that my children will like to use. And maybe I can get them to do the dishes." Like all these little products that we know about. Oh, look, that thing makes it easy for me to be able to keep my car clean, because Lord knows if I don't have a bag right there, that stuff's going on the floor. And then the soda's going to leak out into the carpet. And then I got to replace all the carpets, or I just look like a slob to my mother-in-law. Oh, that
Yeah.
solves the problem, So it's really just about making sure you understand what the main problem is that you're solving, and then quickly communicate it in a way that makes people go, "Oh yeah, no brainer. Okay, I'm buying that."
Yeah, and Matt, I'll tell you, you hit like from a person who's actually invented and or launched products. You hit every key point. I mean, not that I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. I know what I believe, but I know what reality is. And certainly working with you has brought me back to some reality of how to sell products. So how can inventors find you? Where do they go to find you?
Easiest thing to do is just to go to scdigital.com. So it's SC, that stands for Solomon Consulting Digital.com. That was the original name of the company, actually, was Solomon Consulting, when it was just two Solomons, myself and my cousin Matt. But now we've hit this amazing team, and we're so much more, like so much more than just Matt and I. I mean, people are on our team are far more qualified to do all of these things that we're talking about than we are. And so it's scdigital.com. And the best thing to do is just in the top right corner, there's a little link where you can just click on book a Zoom call, and it comes right into my calendar. We can set 15 minutes aside. We can jump on a Zoom call, walk through a little bit about what you're doing, where you're at in the process, and if we're a good fit to work with you now, or if we may not be a good fit now, but perhaps 6 to 12 months down the road, we kind of keep the conversation going, keep track of one another. That's the best way to get the conversation started, is just to grab some time on our calendar and get the ball rolling that way.
Great.
Yep.
What do you think, Carmine?
I think it's awesome. Real quick, I know we only got a minute or two left. Bradley, for different social media sites, obviously different age groups.
Sure.
Is there any that stand out for you that people absolutely have to be on for products, or it depends on the product, depends on the age group, depends on the target market?
Well, that's a really awesome question. I mean, all of the well, okay. So there are definitely some platforms that if you're going after a younger generation, people in their teens or their 20s, like if you're not on Instagram, you really need to be on Instagram, because that's where a lot of those, that's where they are. I mean, that's where people spend their time. But by the same token, the thing to remember is that, we'll talk about Facebook, for example. Facebook has, I think, I don't know, 2.5 billion users. So if you never did anything, like if you never did anything on YouTube, you never did anything on Instagram, you never did anything on TikTok, any of these other social media, but you just focused on Facebook, no matter what demographic you're going after, there would probably be enough people on Facebook for you to make a lot of money, right? For you to reach more than enough people, plenty of people, like all the people that your advertising budget can give you, are probably on Facebook. That said, if you want to differentiate your efforts, Instagram is definitely something that needs to be acknowledged. Also, YouTube is an amazing platform. You know, YouTube is an amazing platform, especially because the Google advertising platform gives you the ability to target in ways that you can't target using Facebook anymore. You know, Facebook faced a lot of backlash a few years back about their targeting procedures and their privacy issues, but Google gives you the ability to target people based on literally what they've been searching for. You know, so if somebody's been searching for how to potty train my child, that's a really easy way to target somebody on YouTube, because, you know, with like a potty training product, right? So all of them have different benefits. It's just a matter of kind of knowing what the best tool is to use for the job. Like when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail to you. But when you are sort of a multifaceted, you know, one of those like knife tools that has, you know, all kinds of different attachments to it, you can really pick the right one for the client at the time. So those are a few that really should be acknowledged. None of them are a silver bullet. You know, a great product that's advertised very, very well with a compelling offer is going to do well no matter what platform it's on. You know, it's all going to do fine. It's just a matter of like where the highest concentration of your audience is. And Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, are pretty much everybody's on all three of those.
I'll tell you, Carmine, this is what I love about doing this show, right? I mean, every week we have a guest on who has a specialty. We talked about my specialties with making things in the US, but you got a guy like Brad who's just doing it. I've watched his company grow. So you don't grow if you're not doing it right. Long story short. And the benefit I keep telling you that I get from him is no matter what time I call him or when I text him, on Sundays, he answers. And
No, it's awesome.
I appreciate who I want to work with.
Cool. Yeah, I appreciate it. You know, it's what's great is that having people on here like Brad, like you, Chris, we're really giving out information they need. I mean, it's obvious to me, and I want our listeners to realize that, you know, Brad, you're giving out information, and I know you know what you're talking about because you hit so many points that people really need to know. They might not want to know these things. They might shy away from it because it's not exactly what they want to do or hear. But I mean, you're choosy with your clients. I know that it takes a seasoned professional to be able to do that. You know, you tell people to remove roadblocks. Very super important. For some reason, people put roadblocks in when people want to pay them. Crazy. Remove any roadblock. Somebody wants to give you money, take it. I mean, it's insane not to do that. You're telling people find out who their target market is. You say have a plan. Super important. Know your strategy before you spend money. I mean, these are things that are not, you know, when you wake up in the morning, if you've never done it before, that you know, these are things that take people like yourself, people like Chris, a long time to learn. Maybe some failures, maybe some mistakes, but you're giving this information to people and saying, listen, I've learned it. So awesome, man. Brad, this has been such an important show for inventors and product developers to learn from.
I'm so glad you guys had me on. I'll come back anytime. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you. So much.
Thank you, Matt. Definitely, really appreciate it.
Very cool. Yeah, it's awesome. So all you listeners out there, going out to scdigital.com. If you believe Brad can give you help, if you're not sure, you have some questions, contact him anyway. You know, let them see what's going on. Tell them what's happening. It's a very cool site, by the way, Brad. It really cool the way it flows. I love it. For myself, Carmen Denisco, for Mr. Christopher Guerrera, Mr. Bradley Solomon, we thank you for listening today, and we will catch you next time on Made in America. You all take care.